guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your daily horoscope and energetic reading for the lunar eclipse that is going to be a supermoon, and this is a total lunar eclipse, supermoon, and it's going to be the final blood moon in a series of 4 that we've had. So I want to talk a little bit about the astrological side of it, and we're going to give the energetic reading. And for some of you, however it appeals to you, I completely understand. But I like facts to back up energy or energetic readings, and it helps me understand and make sense out of energies at play and why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. So during this lunar event, one of the big deals about this event is that Saturn is going to be opposing the lunar eclipse, right? Saturn is going to be in expansive Sagittarius, and it is going to oppose the total lunar eclipse in Aries. So I just want to talk about that one energy and what that means in astrology, and we'll talk about all the other stuff. So Saturn being in Sagittarius is a good thing. It's not like when it was in Scorpio, so we don't need to be as scared of Saturn opposing this as some might think. It just means that we have it's going to really open up the energy and really maximize the potential of the energy from this lunar eclipse. It's really going to expand the message in this particular event. That's all it means, right? So when it's squaring, it's in opposition, but it's not in opposition where two energies that are here that they want to go here, right? It's opposing energies. So one good thing about energy that's in opposition is it gives us 2 ways to look at an event, right? And that's important because when you have so much energy and ego, we definitely need some energy challenging ego, because it can make us very decisive about what to do based on what we want based on our egos, but that may not be altogether what's best for us. And so the challenge is this beautiful Saturn energy. And I think people look at it wrong, and I think they think, oh, Saturn's going to really give us some control, some issues with our identity and how we view ourselves. And I think that could be some of the challenge in it, absolutely. But I also see that as being a really good thing. I mean, a really, really good thing and a blessing as far as I'm concerned. So another thing that's going on during this lunar event that I find very, very cool is the fact that the Sun and Mercury and all the North Node are all conjunct sitting in Libra energy, right? And they are really they're all working together. So anytime energy is conjunct, that means you get all of those energies for the price of one. So if any of those energies are set off, it sets all of the energies at the same time. And so your North Node is in charge of ascension, where we want to move forward in this life, what we want to become initially, what we were put on this earth to do. Then we've got our Sun, our core, our soul, in opposition of this lunar experience. So we've got others, right? The energy, Libran energy that rules partnerships and others, and it is opposing self and ego, and that's in our emotional level. So we've got our core challenging our emotional well-being at this point, and we're trying to, it's like we're on a teeter-totter, right? And on one side of the teeter-totter, we've got one person that weighs this much, and we've got one person on the other side of the teeter-totter that weighs this much. Well, if you were imbalanced, say they were both 120 pounds, the teeter-totter would be easy, and you wouldn't have to push. I mean, it would almost like it would just sit there and it'd be like that, right? It would be a very balanced energy. But as we both know, right, as everybody knows right now, we're not at the same level energetically with our soul as with our emotions. And so that teeter-totter right now is one side of it's heavier than the other. And that is a personal journey of everybody's, their own personal journey. So for some of you, your ego is really pulling down all this energy. For some of you, the need for balance is really pulling down the energy. And I think the need for balance is healthy, right? Like sometimes you can be so balanced in energy that you're too busy worrying about what everybody else wants and you're trying to make everybody happy that you don't balance your own needs with what other people want. So sometimes that's what Libra and energy gets caught up in, is making everybody happy and keeping the balance with everybody, but there's no balance within themselves. And so that puts everything off kilter too. Just because all this energy is in Libra doesn't mean squat if you don't know how to have proper boundaries and maintain your ego while in a challenged position, right? Ego is very important. Don't discredit the need for ego to be as strong as balance, right? Because I've seen so many Libras really go all out to make everybody happy and make the general consensus, right? And they're really balancing everything out and they can see two sides to everything, right? But sometimes it makes them freaking indecisive as hell and doormats because they really just want this partnership energy so much that they often don't stand by their ego, their boundaries, and what they want. They try to just give the person that they're with all of the power. And so that has been a serious challenge with Libra and energy. And with all of our energies, we're all learning our balance. We're all learning how to have a strong, healthy ego and consider others. And that's the beauty of this particular moon. So we have Saturn squaring off with emotion, right? Because it really wants to get you emotionally in check with your ego. And then we have the sun, your core, square, and Libra energy squaring off with your moon. So all of this is just at a state of balance. They're all weighing right now. And it's all very important energy for us to get a balance in all of it. So there's no predominant energy that has more power than the other energy. And that's really important because some of us were letting a lot of our energies get out of control, whether it be our ego, whether it be the need to people please, whether it be the need to be controlling and have control and monopolize everybody and be overbearing and narcissistic. And some of us were just the doormats, codependents. And so this lunar eclipse is really challenging all of those energies and really letting us know where our weakness is so we can put an end to that sabotaging behavior. Now, in this particular day, the energetic side of this, now that's just the general reading, and I'll get more precise into all of the daily reading, all of the sun, moon, and rising sign. I'll do all of those individually. Generally, that's what the point is for this entire lunar eclipse, this event. Now, energetically, the core issue is moving forward while sustaining a relationship, right? Because this is a Libra. So what's happening is we want our emotional well-being and our ego to balance what we need in a relationship, right? To balancing partnership energies, to balancing relationships with others. We don't want to lose power in relationships anymore. And I think for some of us, it's just going to be knowledge and really tapping into the Libra energy, but not letting Libra be so dominant that we forget our ego. And I think that for some of us, the strength that can come of this is really tapping in to our moon and letting our emotions be a gauge for us. So I love, the way that I follow intuition and the way that I'm learning how to do it is my emotions gauge where I'm faulty or where I'm not feeling healthy or where I'm experiencing stress, or where I'm incredibly intuitive with the energetic needs of what I need to do. It's all emotion based. So if we can get on board with tuning into our emotions and stop denying our emotional desires, our emotional needs, but not letting them get so carried away that they develop into poor coping methods and they develop into a need to emotionally sabotage our need for progression, because we need emotional emotional support right now, because we can't deal with our own emotional anxieties and our issues with ourselves. And so the dichotomy in all of this is to get all of these energies all counterbalancing each other, all weighing each other out, and get it in the middle, all of them. And that is the challenge of this incredible moon. And that's why it's such a big, powerful moon that's going to go in and really shake things up, really going to magnify things, really going to bring things forward, and going to stabilize, or going to work on or show us where we need to energetically find a way to deal with all this energy. Scorpio, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the lunar eclipse that is coming up for you. And this is a pivotal time for you. I think energetically you're going to come out on top. It's a good reading for you. Where this is happening for you is in your 6th house. So this is in your house of personal power. This is in the house of mentally getting on board with physically getting on board with your work routine and where you want to go with your future. So for right now, some of you, I think, are indecisive, and you may be looking at a bunch of opportunities, but you're not actually interested in making a decision right now. And that can be very difficult for you because your particular energy is really in opposition with a lot of this. It's squaring off with a lot of these energies, and I think it's just challenging you to make a decision at this point. I think you're just wanting to take the ho-hum type approach. Life is pretty easy. I don't really need to make any big decisions, but I think energetically you're going to be forced to make some big decisions because you can't stay stuck, right? You got to move forward. And I think it's all about balance. So at this point, I think life is so easy, but you know that progression needs to happen. And you know that energetically it needs to happen in areas of balance. But I think you're trying to hold on to the control of where you are and the dysfunction that you are. And I think that for the most part, you don't really want to open yourself up to the information that you could learn from this lunar experience. So I think for you, this is going to be an Aries ego-based energy more than it's going to be the Libra-based energy, because I think for you, you're going to desire to have control over it. I think you want to control this moon, right? You want this lunar experience to be on your terms, and that is something that you often suffer from. And I think you're going to find that if you try to arm wrestle this lunar experience, I think that for the most part, I think that you might experience a loss of control. And maybe for some of you, that loss of control is what's necessary for you to respect astrological influences over your life, and to respect the fact that you need to make some progress in your life and gain some balance over your perspective. Like, it can't just be all about getting what you want all the time. It's got to be about progression and challenge. And I think for the most part, you could kind of sit there and not energetically learn from this and pretend to have control over the situation and outwardly look like you do. But I think deep down there's a idea, there's a spiritual awakening, there is something that energetically speaks to you, and I think you are feeling a calling. It's just whether or not you want to get on board with that. It's not as though you can't accept a challenge. So if the energy starts to challenge you, you're going to be like, okay, fine, energy, challenge me because I'm a badass Scorpio, and I can totally take it. So I really don't have to energetically move if I don't fracking want to. I think that's an unfortunate stance, but it is something that you can absolutely do. You can tune into the Aries energy in this and and you can steer away from the Libra-based energy. But I'm going to tell you one thing that I see. If you attach to the Aries energy, which I feel deeply that a majority of you will do, I see that you're going to have control, right? But you're not going to get the most out of this. You're not going to grow. You're not going to flourish. You're not going to get the ultimate reward at the end of this, right? But for those of you that are caught up in the balanced energy of this, yes, it's going to challenge some of your mindsets. Yes, it's going to ask you to broaden your perspectives and open your mind up to new possibilities. And you're going to lose a little bit of self-control in this situation, but I see you sitting at the throne of like ultimate happiness and victorious over your life in the end. So I think it's a choice of how you want to experience this lunar eclipse. Now remember that even though energy wants to guide us, ultimately we have free will. And so if you choose not to partake, then you stay stuck and you get your limiting life, and good luck with that. So that is my energetic reading for you, dear Scorpio. Thank you so much for tuning in to me, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Sagittarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the lunar eclipse that is going to be happening. This is a supermoon, and anytime we have a supermoon, it is 3 times more stronger than the average lunar eclipse. Not to mention, this is a total lunar eclipse, so that's a huge and very expansive energy. But then also, it's the final blood moon that you've heard so much talk about. So this is a big, big turning point in your life, and I think for the most part, energetically, I feel very confident with your reading. And the reason I say that is because I think that for the most part, you're able to energetically take a look at this from a broad perspective and connect with the right energy. Now, even if you do experience a square with Saturn, which you will, in Sagittarius, I think you'll look at it as a challenge and as an opposition that may make you need to open up your perspective and broaden your perspective. I think there is a tremendous opportunity on the future, and maybe you have many, maybe you have a lot of opportunities. And for you, I think it's just you want to make the most sensible opportunity, the decision for the most sensible opportunity. But, you want the largest payoff, because of course you do. And so that's going to cause you to do some reflection, and maybe on this particular lunar experience, I think what you need to do is, I think you need to connect with energy and ask it for, what's the best monetary payoff? Like, what will bring you the most peace? Now, you want lunar peace, and you want solar peace. Like, you're broad enough to understand that you need to have core-based peace and you need to have emotion-based peace. And so for you, that's going to require some reflection, because in the past you may have made several headstrong decisions based on monetary gains, but I think at this point you know that doesn't actually pay off. And so you're really this is a very introspective moon for you. I think that you're going to be taking a look at all the energies at play. And for you, there's a big decision that needs to be made. And I think it needs to be something that is based on critically analyzing opportunity. Like, you really want to make a really good decision with the opportunities that you have before you. This is going to cause you to have a lot of reflection. You want Saturn to almost challenge your belief system. That way, it can broaden your perspective and it can make you see the pros and cons to all of these situations. Because we're talking about ultimate monetary gain in the end. We're talking about ultimate opportunity in the end, picking the right one. It's like you have a bunch of choices and all of them could lead to something wonderful, but which one is the actual right one to pick? It's kind of like, you ever watch The Price is Right, and they have 2 curtains, and it's like you can pick each one, and maybe one just has a car, right? And maybe the other one has money and a whole bunch of monetary things. And so you're really at that point where you're evaluating that. And what you're evaluating the most, I think the central centralized theme of this is that you want ultimate fulfillment at this point. You are not willing to settle for just monetary, or you're not willing to settle for somebody just accept you the way you are. You want it all, you know, and you're at a point in your life where all of your energies are being tested. And so you have this goal of ultimate fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, monetary fulfillment, and you want to feel rich in your life on every level. And this particular experience is going to set off a cascade of events in your life that will really challenge all of the areas of your life. That's why Saturn is particularly in Sagittarian energy. It's really going to broaden your perspective and challenge all of these areas and your limiting belief systems, where you stay stuck, where you feel energetically connected may not be where you end up being connected. In fact, I almost guarantee you where you end up being energetically connected about 2 years from now. You are going to find that all these areas, you're going to be making all kinds of weird decisions. And I think you're going to have a very unexpected result in the next couple of years. And you're going to be like, I can't believe I'm the same person I was 2 years ago. Thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. And I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Capricorn, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the total lunar eclipse, supermoon, final blood moon that's going to be happening today. And for you, this is all happening in your 4th house, and so that's home and family. So you are expecting a big transformation in home and family. And so Saturn is really going to give you a juicy little delight today, and it is going to sextile the Sun in Libra. And for you, I really enjoy this reading because I see you getting what you want in the end. I see you monetarily getting ahead and having ultimate fulfillment. It's like you get everything at the end of the rainbow, and you've been working really hard to get here. And I think there's more work to do. I'm not going to lie. There's absolutely, I think you've transformed a lot of your thought processes. I think that for the most part, emotionally, you know what you want, and you're willing to put in the hard work, and you're willing to try to overcome some significant barriers that I think you had some very limiting belief systems at one point, but I think that those have all broadened out for you. Pluto-Uranus squares were big turning points for you. And I think for the most part, I think you still hold back a little bit. I think you're too scared to really feel like you won, right? Because you know how fast it can be fleeting and go away. But I think for you, the challenge is going to be that, you just get to energetically connect with love. Now, I think for the most part, you're feeling very burdened by everything. You're trying to balance everything out. You're trying to do this Sun and Libra thing. And I think you hold back because I feel like you think that if you give all you can give, that the emotional burden will be so tough. I think you're transforming this entire area. It is a process. I think to emotionally get what you desire, I think you have to stop limiting yourself and holding back. And I think that you have to stop looking at it as like it's an emotional challenge versus the fact that the payoff is going to be fruitful, right? It's going to be very beneficial for you. It's like you're holding everything in your hand, but it's like I think you're still expecting the worst at some point. So I think that what's going to open all this up for you is heart-based endeavors and love. And, I really like this reading for you because home and family is really going to soften your heart up, and it's really going to bring an end to how you used to identify yourself. I know that monetary gain was always the end-all be-all, and it will always be with you. But I think right now that emotionally, I think you realize that it takes an emotional level. It takes a partner. It takes somebody that can come in there and help take the burdens off your back and really provide you with that stable support system. And it allows you to be emotionally vulnerable but still remain in control and have strength over your situation. So I think you're just going to be weighing all this stuff out. It's a very expansive energy. It's going to broaden your perspective on how you feel about all of this. And in the end, isn't that what it's all about? Because Saturn wants to, when it's in a good mood like it is with you, it really wants to go in and broaden your perspective about what you want and desire. It really wants you to emotionally connect with what you monetarily want, especially you. And so, I mean, I think for the most part, you're going to find that something could happen that really, really pays off emotionally and really plugs you back in and stops the limiting belief system that you have. You did endure a lot of past pain, and you're trying to leave that old mindset behind. And I think as you move forward, all of this stuff will eventually get us to the next level. But I really just think that at first the challenge is going to be letting go on a heart-based endeavor and emotionally finding satisfaction in this, as well as monetary gains and pleasure-based gains and, you know, ego-based gains. It's like you've got to balance out emotion versus ego, and they're equally important to you. And you're starting to open up to that. You're starting to see that. I don't see this being a problem for you. And as your home and family becomes more significant, as you define your own home and family, it doesn't have anything to do with the past or childhood, because if you look back at your past and the childhood, I think you tend to pull back and be emotionally reserved, and maybe because there was some deficiency in your past. But I think as you move forward and you start to develop your own family and your own belief system about how family should go, I do believe that all this energy is going to turn around for the best, and you are going to have a fabulous lunar experience. But just allow it. Don't be so don't get caught up in the control of it. Allow this energy to go up and just take control over you and see what it busts open. You know, that's the best part of a lunar experience. It's almost like a present, a surprise present that you don't know what's in there, that you don't even know who it's from, and you open it up and you see what it is. It's kind of like that experience for you, and you're one of the rare people that get this, so enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Aquarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the lunar eclipse that is going to be happening for you in your third house. And the third house is kind of, I see it a teeny bit challenge right now, because the ruler that's over the third house is in retrograde. So for you, I think you're pulled back to your past. Now, Uranus and Aries, okay, so you have two rulers. You have Uranus and you have Saturn. And Uranus and Aries is making you want to try out a situation that you're having in your life. Right now, there's a big shakeup going on in your foundation. And I think that for the most part, I think that your ego is getting the best of you, and you think, well, you know, I'm just going to try this situation out. I'm sure that everything will work out in the end because I'm an Aquarius. And I think that you are getting caught up in that. And you can, and that's an ego based, but as we all know, I think the challenge with this particular lunar eclipse is to challenge ego based decision making, right? And so even though that's what you've always done and it's always paid off and it's always worked out for you, I think that that can be very challenging for you. Now, the outcome is that you do get what you want in love. The outcome is that you do. But I think you have to face the challenge that's going on in your foundation. You have to really analyze why you're experiencing this particular event. And for me, this definitely has something to do with relationships. And the reason I say this is because Aries energy, right? Uranus is in Aries, and this lunar experience is in Aries. So I think emotionally, this is a very challenging time for you. And I think you want to try to find some balance. I think you're justifying what's going on. I think you look at all this and you think, well, I can justify this behavior because this is what this person is dealing with in my life, this partner, because so what's happening is the lunar experience is happening in ego, right? And then the challenge to that, the solar experience, is happening in partnerships based energy, and that's in Libra energy. So I think the challenge for you is I know that you're emotionally strong. I know that you can take on any of this, and I think that you're willing to. But I think that you're holding on to what you energetically want, and there are small triumphant achievements that you're getting, enough to keep all this. You're milking all this energy for what it is. My concern is that you're going to get caught up in your ego, and you're going to miss the best part of this energy, and that is Saturn and Sagittarius is going to be sextiling the sun in Libra. So this has to do with controlling what you core-based want. You've got to define what you want. You've got to look at the outcome, the final outcome, right? You can't get all feminine, right, in this energy. The strongest energy in here is very masculine energy. So that's very decisive energy. I think if you allow your emotions, the feminine energy, to take over, I think that you're going to attach to some outcomes that you may not be ideally good for you. And the reason I say this is because Saturn in Sagittarius is going to be squaring off with Venus in Leo, and it's going to be squaring off with Mars in Virgo. It's going to be squaring off with Jupiter in Virgo. So this could be something that you've always done, and that you're going to have to challenge some of your coping methods. And this eclipse season is really doing that. Is really allowing that. Now you can try all this out and just completely effing avoid it, and you can really not experience a whole hell of a lot from this if you really want to. But I see that if you do that, I see the energies changing, and I see that the outcome is not beneficial for you. It's not empowering for you. I see that the outcome is you'll eventually have to deal with this. I see if you want to accept the challenge and you want Saturn to get some control over your life and you want to tap into Sagittarian energy, I don't really want you to tap into Aries energy, even though it is a trine-based energy, and it will make this situation very easy to deal with. I don't see that being the most beneficial energy for you. The most beneficial energy is finding balance, finding emotional balance in the midst of all this chaos. And so for you, you could have to turn your back on something to turn the energy around in favor of what you ideally want. Like there's a picture that you have, and you effing deserve it. You deserve to have monetary gain, a support system. You deserve to have ultimate triumph. You deserve to have a happy family. You deserve all the energy that you've been putting in to this incredible situation and you've had to stay strong the entire time. You deserve an outcome that is energetically worthy of you. And for you, you have the balance, you have the knowledge, you have everything at your fingertips to really turn this around. I think what's really difficult for you is that you lose your power if you give into the situation. And so some of the transformation that needs to happen in this situation is for you to really acknowledge, for you to really, really see your situation for what it is. Like you really need to stop avoiding the fact that things have happened, things have come up, and they're not okay, right? They're not okay with where you want to be. And maybe you've allowed some coping methods to get out of hand. And maybe this has something to do with the fact that, they're very heart-based for you. And what I see that you deeply want is just a really solid, like a monetary gain, but also just it's not like you're caught up in getting ahead based on money. You're caught up in complete and utter fulfillment. And for you, there's somebody that's in your life that's causing some instability and has caused you to lose track of being on the right path. You were on the right path, and you will be again. You will be after this event. If it's the last thing you do, you will turn all this energy around and it will go back in your favor. And I know that you're energetically holding back, and I know that you're not identifying the right amount of power. You're holding on to an ideal, but you're not seeing the big picture. Like your foundation is never going to be strong, ever going to be strong where it's at right now. If you tie into ego, it will always be this way. But if you tie into balanced energy, yes, some of this will change and some of this will flip in the other direction. Maybe it'll challenge you a little bit, and maybe your ego will take a little bit of a blow. But I think for the most part, I see something super beautiful for you. And I know the outcome is beautiful. I know that you are going to get what you want. And I'm talking on an emotion-based level. I'm not just talking about on a monetary level. If you're talking about a monetary level, I think for the most part, you can get what you want. But that's not enough for you. Like, I think you emotionally want something. And I know that's a lot for an Aquarian to say, because they really don't, I mean, you try out most of what you want emotionally to get what you want energetically. Just don't let your ego take control of the situation, and don't get caught up in all this fire-based energy, which I know is very easy for you. And I know it's like, ooh, the challenge is on, I'm going to beat it and overcome it, and it's just all ego. Honey, that's not where real power lies for you. It's just not. So I wish you many blessings, and I know that you're being challenged in other parts of this particular month and moving forward. So I really want you to use this lunar experience to remove ego and to really tap into a balance and partnership energies, and really, really analyze how you want to move forward and get what you energetically deserve. Thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Pisces, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for the lunar eclipse that is going to be happening for you in your second house. And so this is how you value yourself, how others value you. And this has to do with possessions, monetary gains. So there's a lot of energy about getting ahead. And we're talking about on a level of monetary perspective. So, for you, okay, so Neptune is in Pisces, and it is in opposition with Jupiter in Virgo. So I think right now, no, hate me. I just read the cards and the energy, and I just look at astrology. I see some of your coping methods are really effing out of balance. I think it's like you're almost codependent, or I think that somebody's codependent on you, or I think that you guys are codependent on each other, and so that you're energetically supporting negative energy right now. I do see forward movement, I really do, but I'm wondering how solid this forward movement is for you. I see you overcoming, and I see you connecting finally again with a level of where you're elevating what you want. My concern, my deep concern is that some of you are giving your personal power to the situation, and not and energetically connecting with your situation, and not so much with what makes you healthy, what makes you strong as an individual, what really challenges your perspectives. And so for some of you, there's somebody in your life that's really supporting energetically your childlike behavior, and that could be really poor coping methods, that could be ego-based endeavors, that could be partaking too much of drugs or alcohol or any of those things, and it's really it's codependent. It's not really energetically where you were supposed to end up. But you have this person that's in your life, and they're very loving and they're very giving, and they support you for who you are. And there's a sense of feeling energetically happy in this amount of dysfunction. And I think for some of you, you're making commitments based on that. Absolutely. I see you making very long-term commitment based on this really poor, and I gotta tell you, I think it's a poor decision. The thing is, during this lunar eclipse, so a lunar eclipse, and it is a very highly energetic time. It's all about making a decision. It's all about weighing everything. And I think that I think you energetically know that where you're at maybe isn't a good idea. But it's just so damned easy, and why wouldn't you, right? And I think for you, the opportunity, it's like you don't know how to make a decision, so you're letting other people make the decision for you, right? Because they seem to have it way more together than you do. And they seem to understand the future better than you do. So let's just make the decision based on what they want, because, you know, you're indecisive and you have all of this weird Jupiter in Virgo and Mars in Virgo energy. And it's really like some of your coping methods I absolutely see are at this point not in balance. And I see that some of your issues are just very ego-based, very Aryan-based. So anytime we're taking a look at this, just from an energetic level, we have the lunar eclipse in Aries. So ego is completely where you're identifying right now. You have it easy. You know, you basically, monetarily, you make the decision, you're golden, right? And ego-based, it can get you what you desire. I think for you, there's a bigger thought process going on, but I don't think you're willing to accept it. I don't think you're willing to energetically connect with it. I think you just want to trudge forward and move forward with somebody else's suggestion because you are indecisive, because you have Neptune and Pisces opposing Virgo energy. And so I think it's really asking you to take a look at everything. And I think you just, at this point, are a little bit in denial about your personal issue. And so anytime there's opposition, I think you're in a challenge position. I think that emotionally, I think intuitively, you know there's a challenge in this moon. But I think whether or not you take a look at it and you connect with the balanced part of the energy and you try to put this in perspective, I see you making a decision Aryan-based. I see you making a decision that makes your life pretty much easy and you live in the good life, so you think. And somebody's supporting your poor coping methods, so why wouldn't you make that choice, right? I see this as being it's not an unpleasant moon for you, because you're going to energetically make the one that, you're going to make a decision based on monetary gains, right? You're going to make a decision based on the fact that you feel empowered right now. I want to challenge you and ask you, do you feel empowered? Or do you feel empowered by following along behind somebody and being codependent in a relationship, and you see them as the dominant person in your life, and they can make all the decisions and they just tell you what to do and you just do it because that's easy. It feels good. And then you don't have to make any decisions, right? Because decisions are hard. Being indecisive it's hard. So you have somebody telling you what to do, and that makes you feel okay. But I think it's kind of like the blind leading the blind right now. Like, you guys are both codependent on each other, and I don't know how healthy that is. But it is based on monetary gains, and you can get ahead doing it. So, I mean, I can't see that this is a terrible moon for you. I just really want to challenge you, especially in this energetic reading. Please make sure that before you go headstrong and you rose over all of this, because, you know, Neptune energy is in opposition, which means that normally you would look at this realistically because your ruler's in retrograde, but it is actually in opposition. So it's like you're almost rosing over issues, and you're not really acknowledging the challenge. You're staying stuck. You're in a very foolhardy position. And this person is really supporting not the highest vibration in you, but there's no challenge in it, so why wouldn't you? I think that's really hard. If you really, it's like you don't have an identity of your own. So you're not making a decision whatsoever. You're making it based on your current situation, and that person is making all the decision for you. That's what I see. I mean, I don't know how accurate that is, but I really do see that. I'm not going to say that if you don't make that decision based on somebody else's opinion, that it's not going to turn out monetarily in your gain. Oh, it absolutely will. You absolutely get ahead monetarily. I don't know for how long, but I see it definitely being a very expansive energy for the most part during this lunar experience. I see some of you really getting on that bandwagon and really taking off with this energy and allowing it to expand you. I just want you to maybe take a look at this from a long-term perspective, from a Libran perspective, right? And I want you to really ask yourself, I mean, is this something that long-term wise will pay off? I mean, inevitably throughout the entire rest of my life if I make some drastic decisions. Because I'm thinking not. Because Saturn is squaring off with Neptune and Pisces. So to me, I think you're rosing over something, and Saturn's challenging you to open and broaden your perspective and really, honestly, open your mind up to maybe you're looking at this from a narrow-minded perspective. And it really wants to open you up to something bigger than that. That's just my 2 cents. I mean, I really want you to be happy. So if you want to make a decision that feels effing great, and you know what? There's opportunity in where you're at and you're indecisive, and if somebody else is there to help you guide you, I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't do the same freaking thing. I can't, because I got Neptune energy in me and I know I would. So I'm not going to get up here and preach to you about something I know damn well I would do. I want to challenge you and say that maybe think about it. And really open yourself up to making a decision based on ego for you. It's so weird. Most of the time I tell people don't make a decision based on ego, but for you, I think you need to put ego into this scenario. Thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and I just want to give you a little heads up. I'm going to include this at the very end of the videos. Watches it. But, you know, a lot of you have been asking about donations, and I always feel weird taking donations when I'm trying to help people. But I have put something up, and I don't really know how it works, but it's something about enabling fans something, and I just did it today, so I don't know how much it is, what it does, or how you even do it, but you can donate if you want to my channel based on that. Now again, I don't really know enough about it, and I don't really have time to really research it, but if you really want to take a look at that, you can. Also, I do offer personal readings. Everybody asks me that. You know, I've been so busy with trying to develop my channel and trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing with it that I don't always advertise it, but if you just go to www.Annette'sAstrologyCorner.com, I do offer personal readings there, and you can see my packages there if you really want to. I also want to add that I have been adding tarot to my readings, my energetic readings, and it just allows me to have, I test really ridiculously high in visual learning, and so I really use tarot cards to connect with the energies, and I kind of have my own little weird quirky method about what cards attach to like Jupiter, what cards attach to Libra energy. Like, I mean, I do use some of their suggestions, but I know that some of them energetically speak to me a little bit different. So I would like to start incorporating the card that I initially draw based on I put my hands over them and I feel energy, and I ask to be guided in, you know, what card is going to be the strongest card, and then I take a look at the energetic reading, and I take a look at all the astrology, and I actually kind of combine them, and so I would like to start showing you guys the card of the day. I mean, I do an entire spread, but and I mostly work off of energy, but I'm really doing a combination. It's something different. It's something that speaks to me, and it's something that I really am pretty excited about. Like, you know, I know that some people think that tarot adds evil, but oh God, I guess because I'm a light empath, I don't feel evil. So things that go through me aren't evil based, like aren't dark based. So it's not like dark energy is going to seep into my readings because I'm a light empath. So, and I clear my deck every single time, and I mean, it just speaks to me more. I don't know how everybody feels about that, and I guess I'm not really worried about it,